In this third essay on preemptive mirror framing, we look at why loyalists fall for it. When an accusation lands, people rarely process it like detectives. They don't gather all the facts, weigh every side, and wait for evidence to settle the truth. Instead, they feel the accusation. They measure its emotional resonance against what they already believe about the person making it, or the one it targets. This is why preemptive mirror framing works so powerfully on loyal audiences. It doesn't rely on truth, it relies on identity, emotion, and cognitive shortcuts. Once loyalty fuses with belief, deception becomes self-sustaining. 1. The emotional glue of loyalty. Loyalty is one of the most admirable human traits, but it's also one of the easiest to exploit. In its healthiest form, loyalty stems from trust built over time through shared values and positive experience. But when weaponized, loyalty becomes a psychological blindfold. A loyal follower doesn't just believe in the message, they believe in the messenger. Once that emotional bond is established, facts become negotiable, but faith remains absolute. When a trusted leader or in-group figure makes a preemptive accusation, loyalists instinctively lean toward belief. They're not evaluating evidence, they're defending identity. The accusation feels true because it aligns with how they already see the world. Our side as the righteous and their side as corrupt. This emotional alignment creates what psychologists call motivated reasoning, the tendency to interpret information in a way that confirms existing beliefs and preserves emotional comfort. The result? Loyalty overrides logic. Number 2, cognitive dissonance, the protector of belief. When reality starts to challenge loyalty, the mind faces a conflict called cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable tension between what I believe and what's true. For loyalists, admitting that a trusted figure used manipulation feels like betrayal, not just of the leader, but of the self. To resolve that discomfort, they unconsciously choose the narrative that maintains inner harmony. They must have been forced into that decision. The media took it out of context. The other side is lying to smear them. In preemptive mirror framing, this defense mechanism is already built in. Because the leader accused others of wrongdoing first, loyalists can reinterpret later revelations as retaliation, not revelation. The brain seizes the easier explanation. The other side is making things up because they were exposed first. It's an elegant form of psychological judo, using loyalty's own strength to maintain the illusion of integrity. Third, group identity and the us versus them reflex. Humans are tribal by nature. We crave belonging, and belonging often requires distinction, knowing who is us and who is them. Preemptive mirror framing exploits this by transforming accusations into loyalty tests. When the leader claims they're attacking us because we're telling the truth, any skepticism within the group becomes disloyalty. Questioning the accuser isn't intellectual curiosity, it's betrayal. This dynamic mirrors what sociologists describe as groupthink, the tendency of cohesive groups to prioritize unity over accuracy. Within such groups, dissent is punished and affirmation is rewarded. Members learn, consciously or not, that belief equals belonging. By accusing others first, the manipulator creates a rally around the flag effect. Followers close ranks, interpret criticism as persecution, and double down on group identity. The psychological reward for loyalty, belonging, purpose, shared moral superiority, becomes stronger than the pull of truth. The emotion trap, fear and righteous anger. Emotion is the accelerant that keeps loyalty burning, and preemptive accusations are almost always emotional. They use fear, they're coming after us, anger, they've gotten away with this for far too long, or moral disgust, they're corrupt to the core. These emotions do something powerful. They shut down reflective thought. Neurologically, when people experience intense fear or moral outrage, activity in the brain's prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational analysis, drops. The amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, takes over. Once emotions dominate cognition, confirmation bias sets in. People seek information that reinforces their feelings and reject anything that threatens them. Preemptive mirror framing takes advantage of this state by delivering emotional certainty before evidence arrives. The loyalist feels truth before they think about it, and that feeling becomes the new standard of truth. Number 5, the role of repetition and echo chambers. Even the strongest emotional reactions fade unless they're reinforced. That's where repetition and echo chambers come in. When an accusation is repeated across trusted channels, social networks, news sources, peer groups, it gains legitimacy through sheer familiarity. Psychologists call this the illusory truth effect. People are more likely to believe something simply because they've heard it multiple times. For loyalists, echo chambers serve as emotional validation loops. Every repeated phrase, "they're lying about us," feels like independent confirmation, even if it originates from the same narrative source. Over time, this echo chamber becomes a shared reality, one that can feel more real than objective truth. By the time contradictory evidence surfaces, it collides not with ignorance, but with conviction. The narrative isn't believed, it's lived. How loyalty becomes the shield of deceit. The tragedy of preemptive mirror framing is that it turns noble loyalty into complicity. The very people who believe they are protecting truth end up defending deceit. They are not unintelligent or uninformed. They are emotionally and cognitively invested in a frame that feels moral and just. Breaking through that frame requires more than facts. It requires compassion, patience, and the restoration of trust. Shaming or ridiculing loyalists only strengthens their identity walls. Instead, change begins when they feel safe enough to question the narrative without feeling they're betraying themselves or the group. So in conclusion, loyalty without blindness. True loyalty is not obedience, it's integrity. It's the courage to remain committed to principles, not personalities. Preemptive mirror framing thrives where loyalty is blind, where belonging is conditional on belief. The next step is learning how to see it coming and how to reclaim loyalty as a virtue of conscience, not control.